How's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elson, and this is Midco Motorsports. The changes at Badlands Motor Speedway grabbed a lot of headlines in the offseason, but that wasn't the only facility in our area to receive a facelift. Kelly Stewart has more on the major upgrades at what is now known as the Jackson Motorplex.
The Jackson Motorplex, formerly known as the Jackson Speedway, underwent more than just a name change in 2015. Its cosmetic look is completely different than before, and the renovations put this Motorplex in the top tier of those around the nation. Everything started last April when Todd Quiring purchased the Speedway from Jackson County. After a lengthy planning process, Quiring's long-term vision for the facility began to take shape.
It's been Jackson Speedway for 62 years, and some of the things that we've got going on and got planned, we thought, it's time for a name change along with the new ownership. So at that time, we decided to name it the Jackson Motorplex, and the reason being is we're looking at having more than just auto racing here. We want to have some concerts and monster truck events. We're looking at having snowcross events in the wintertime, so it's going to be more than just a racing facility.
Few people have had a better seat for the project than Johnson, whose personal experience with the facility covers more than 3 decades. He said Quiring's involvement all but guarantees success.
I lived 10 miles north of town growing up as a kid, and I used to come to this track every Saturday night and sat in the wooden grandstand, sat in the same spot for probably 10, 15 years through high school, and saw a lot of changes then. I saw a lot of different managers come in, and with Todd and the success that he's had in his businesses, being able to put his expertise and business sense into this, I think the potential is unlimited.
The drivers have been pleased with the results so far, too. Like Johnson, Brian Brown has been coming to Jackson since he was young. Brown, who's competed here with both the National Sprint League and the World of Outlaws this season, is always happy to see when someone takes steps to enhance the sport he loves.
And it was always a place that had really good racing, but the track wasn't very nice, or the facility wasn't the best in the world. And Todd and his group have really did wonders in a year and a half. They did a lot of work to the track with the Musco lighting, and obviously now the grandstands, and now a scoreboard. So I think it's one of the top 5 facilities in the world, and I look forward to coming back every single time and seeing what improvements they keep making.
Quiring certainly deserves a lot of credit for those improvements, but it's definitely taken a village to raise this facility into the nation's top tier.
The community has really embraced what we're doing here at the Speedway. We've worked really close with the Chamber of Commerce and a lot of the businesses downtown. They want to see this thrive because it means more success for their businesses downtown and along the interstate too.
Once everything is finally complete, Johnson says Jackson Motorplex, which now seats upwards of 10,000 people, will offer something for everyone.
So that's kind of what we're looking at, is just making this more of a fan-friendly atmosphere. We're looking at, we got an all-new concourse down below where we're going to have kids clubs and have big wheel races for the kids and just get the family involved and make it more of an event than just a race to come to is kind of what our goal is.
For Midco Motorsports, I'm Kelly Stewart.
All right, thanks, Kelly. Jackson Motorplex has already hosted several big-time events this season, but there are still 2 more to come. The AGCO Jackson Nationals, featuring the National Sprint League's 410 sprints, as well as the ASCS National 360s, are set for September 2nd through the 4th. That'll be followed by the IMCA Stock Car Nationals, which are slated for September 23rd and 24th. Ticket information can be found on the track's website, jacksonmotorplex.com. Sprint cars, some with wings, some without, were the main attraction on Friday. Regardless, being out front played a big role on this night. Double features for the 360s. Skylar Prohaska started 3rd for the first one, but it didn't take him long to get to the front. He pilots the 35 past the front row on the start, and he liked the clean air so much he kept it all to himself. Prohaska leads all 20 laps for the win.
The track was fast. We were definitely good in that first one, but I could just tuck the bottom better than anybody else, it seemed like.
The HRA's 360 non-wing sprints making their second appearance of the season. Lead changes sparse in this one as well. In the green flag, the 0X of Brandon Stevenson dips below fellow front row starter Tony Rustad to gain the top spot. Fast forward to the final lap, Stevenson gets a challenge from the 0 of Alex Schriever, but it was too little too late. Stevenson holds on while Schriever settles for second.
It's been a few years since I've been in victory lane, so this is definitely sweet. been aching for it, been close several times. Just drive the wheels off of it as best you can do. You know, I'm short 50 cubic inches compared to everybody else, so just keep your foot in it and go.
The IMCA 305 sprints came out next. Brandon Allen driving his third different car in as many races at Jackson, hoping for some better results. Well, he got them. 21 started on the outside of row 1 and dominated from start to finish. He too goes wire to wire and collects his second victory of 2016.
I guess when I was pumping my arm coming out of turn 4, I was still in disbelief that we just won Jackson. It's just been a great night. The car was on rails, and I was the lucky guy that got to drive.
Back to the 360s, they inverted the top 12 from the night's first feature, meaning Skylar Prohaska started 12th, while Greg Baker got the pole in the 11X. Certainly looked like it belonged there. Baker took control early and quickly drove away from the field. Prohaska did manage to work his way up 6 spots to finish 6th, but this one belonged to Baker. He takes advantage of a little luck to score his second win in as many weeks at Jackson Motorplex.
When you get in the front, you better not relax. You better have the hammer down, and that's the hard part when you're in front like that. You don't know how hard to push it, you know, so we were fortunate enough to get that win, and we'll go on to the next one.
Badlands Motor Speedway came into last weekend still looking for its first repeat winner in the 410 sprints. We'll let you know if they found one when Midco Motorsports rolls on. Badlands Motor Speedway's seen a lot of parity within its 410 sprint car division in 2016. Counting the 2 World of Outlaws shows over the 4th of July weekend, there's been 7 features and 7 different winners. Saturday, 5 of those drivers were gunning to become the first to return to victory lane. Among them, the track's all-time wins leader, Terry McCarl, as well as current 360 points leader, Tim Kading. They'd have to wait their turn, though. The street stocks were up first, and this one was bittersweet for Craig Hanisch in the 45. After struggling with motor issues the previous couple weeks, he borrowed one from fellow street stock driver Corey Yai to race Saturday, and it was a good one. Lap 5, Hanisch works his way past the 40 car of Tim Dan to take over the top spot, and the race was never in doubt from there. Hanisch literally coasts to the win, his 3rd of the season, but that's where the good news ended.
It was real good until the last lap when the motor decided to blow up. But I got to thank Corey Yai for letting me borrow his motor, and I guess I'm going to have to put a new one together for him.
Hanisch was as good as he was unlucky, but Elliot Amdahl was even more dominant in the IMCA Race Savers. The 51A gets a great jump from the outside of row 1 to move into the lead, with number 4 starter Jesse Lindberg falling in behind. Amdahl in complete control until a caution for Lindberg brought him back to the pack with 3 to go, but it was deja vu on the restart. Amdahl pulls away again. He makes it look way too easy. The 18-year-old leads every lap en route to his first career win in the 305 sprints.
You know, we got to lap traffic and the track was really narrow and didn't really know where to go, so I was glad to see that caution come out for sure.
There'd be a lot more drama in the nightcap. Good fight for second early on. Paul Nienheiser trades places with Mark Dobmeyer a couple of times before the 13 settles it here with a nasty slider in turn 2. At that point, Dobmeyer turned his attention to race leader Justin Henderson, and when the 1H gets caught behind a back marker, Dynamite pounces. Dobmeyer shows the way for the final 6 laps to become Badlands' first repeat winner in the Outlaw Sprints. With that victory, Dobmeyer also takes over the lead in the standings. He's 5 points ahead of Tim Kading. Meanwhile, Terry McCarl drops to 3rd after a 12th place finish. Bit of a Badlands bonus on Sunday with the Midwest late models making the first of 2 appearances at the track. First up, though, Chad Kunert and Dustin Goldbronson resumed their season-long rivalry in the hobby stocks. Kunert led from the start, but he'd feel the heat from the 6 car on the final lap. Goldbronson tries to nose the 44 out of the way, but Kunert holds strong. He evens the score with Goldbronson. Both guys now with 2 wins on the year.
Tonight's mentality was basically make sure I survive, stay in a good position where I can try to win a points championship at the end of the year. Me and Goldbronson got a pretty good battle going on, so I hope we can continue that. And survival of the fittest. I mean, I just needed a good night.
7 cars lined up for the micro sprints feature, but one of them proved to be head and shoulders above the rest. Shane Fick moved to the front from the outside of row 1, and no one was going to catch him. In fact, nobody came close. Fick makes his first win of the year look easy.
We tried some new stuff tonight that we haven't in the past, and it clearly helped. So we'll learn from tonight and be back here next week, hopefully.
Gary Brown Jr., always a crowd favorite, and he gave that crowd plenty to cheer about in the night's special event. Brown racing on his home track for the first time since last season, but it was like he never left. The 8-time track champion started on the pole, and he stayed there the whole way. Chalk up another W for Brown in Brandon, one he says was much needed.
You know, the car ran good, didn't miss a lick, and really handled good. We've been struggling a lot in Huron this year, and hopefully this will help us get us a little bit of momentum going for the rest of the year.
Rough start to the night's 360 sprint feature. Jordan Martins tumbles into the wall in turn 1 after tangling with Justin Henderson. A total of 5 cars, including Martins, would be forced to retire as a result of the incident. Henderson wasn't one of them. He was able to replace his nose wing during the open red to stay in the race, and it was a good thing he did. Henderson pilots the 1H to the front on the restart and dominates the rest of the way. Henderson finally gets the monkey off his back, picking up his first win at Badlands.
Anytime you can get a win, it helps your momentum. It helps the driver's head, and drivers are kind of a fragile thing. We're really reactive, not so much proactive. So every time something good happens, it's just another notch going forward.
Well, Badlands hasn't been the only successful stop for Mark Dobmeyer this season. In fact, he's been even better at River Cities. Find out how Dobmeyer fared in his bid for a 4th straight win in Grand Forks after this. And welcome back. Well, Mark Dobmeyer, who we just saw win at Badlands, has always run well at River Cities Speedway, but the Grand Forks native has taken things to another level this season. Throw Out the World of Outlaws event on June 17th, and Dobmeyer has won 6 of the 7 features he's appeared in, which has him in position for his first track championship at RCS since 2009. Dobmeyer carried an 8-point lead over Casey Mack into Friday's show. Let's start with the street stocks. 2-horse race here between the 7 of James Meager and Ryan Johnson in the 25. Meager with the lead. Johnson tries the inside but clips the 7 in the process, so Meager's cushion gets a little bigger. The 25 sticks with it though. Johnson goes high this time, and it works. He makes the pass on the outside, and after 2 second-place finishes, Johnson finally gets that elusive first W.
I kind of screwed up a couple times, but obviously it didn't matter. Apparently it was a pretty good lead, but I don't know, sometimes you just can't take a second off, you never know.
Kind of a messy night for the Midwest Modifieds. Lap 3, Preston Carr out front in the 5C when 4 cars tangle behind him. Cole Hauglin got the worst of it. He ends up on his roof. The good news is he and everyone else was okay. That was already the second big wreck of the feature, but none of it seemed to faze Carr. He kept the hammer down when he could and ends up leading flag to flag for the win. Dobmeyer, the Outlaw Sprints were up next. The 13 car would start 9th for the 25-lap feature, but here he is leading the field back to green on lap 7. Keep an eye on Wade Nygaard. The 9 car makes a charge from 3rd, nearly gets the lead before Dobmeyer slams the door out of turn 4. No more challenges after that. That's right, Dynamite does it again. Dobmeyer gets lucky win number 7.
I was kind of with the lunch the first couple laps there, and then we had that caution, got to regroup a little bit, and I used the bottom groove to get by a couple guys right away, and then got shaken and bacon after that.
Great story to round out the night in the late model class. Hall of Famer Tom Corcoran looking to end a 6-year drought at River Cities, but he was going to have to earn it. Corcoran in a 3-wide battle for the lead early on. Dustin Strand looks to gain the edge, but Corcoran gets bailed out by the caution flag. Final lap, the T1 try to close it out. Joey Peterson hoping to spoil the party, but the 7P runs out of time. The 61-year-old Corcoran returns to victory lane for the first time since June 4th, 2010.
When you don't run as well as you want to for a long time, you start doubting yourself. And about halfway through this one, I realized that I could do this, and I just kept steady and hit my marks, and that's how it went.
The B-Mods race for a little extra coin in Rock Rapids on Friday. Highlights from the annual special at Rapid Speedway are coming up next. Welcome back. Rapid Speedway has become a destination for B-Modifieds. It's one of the few tracks around Sioux Falls offering a weekly spot for the class this season. Numbers have been consistently high. They saw an average of 31 cars over the first 6 weeks of competition. It was the same story Friday with 36 cars showing up for Rocky's annual B-Mod Special, which paid $500 to win. The first feature of the night, however, came in the sportsman's class. Roger DeBoer won the last one, and this felt an awful lot like that. DeBoer started on the pole just as he had a couple of weeks prior, and just like that time, he led the whole way. DeBoer won just once at Rapid Speedway in all of 2015, but has now taken 2 straight. Good action at the front of the hobby stock feature on Friday. Off an early restart, the 81 VT of Dylan Vandentop overtakes the 17 of Matt Goff. He wouldn't stay there for long, though. A couple trips later, Chad Loneman gets a good run on the top. Too good for Vandentop, who gives way on the backstretch. Loneman still leading when they went to a green-white checkered finish. Reigning points champ Dustin Gulbranson tried to make a run, but he can't get the 6 car to negotiate turn 2 on the final lap, and that was it. Loneman goes on to become the division's first 2-time winner, while Gulbranson falls back to 7th. Next up, the USRA stock cars, and fans treated to another impressive performance from Elijah Zevenbergen in the 66Z. A few laps in, Zevenbergen, who started 8th, climbs into 3rd, trailing the 40 of Scott Overgaard and Colby Clausen in the 34K. Zevenbergen moves up another spot moments later. Overgaard leads the way around the outside as both drivers get by Clausen. From there, the 66Z zeroed in on the 40, and it didn't take long to reel it in. Zevenbergen rides that same line around Overgaard for the lead, and I think you know how it went from there. Zevenbergen runs away from the field yet again, picking up his 3rd straight win and giving him 5 for the season.
We leave tomorrow for a big tour through North Dakota and Canada, so it's a great start to go into that tour, and we hope to keep the momentum going for all the big specials coming up.
That brought us to the B-Mods main event. 20 cars with a shot at the $500, but several find trouble right off the start. Big mess in turn 2. Once they got things cleaned up, they'd try it again, and a good battle develops between 2 of the top point guys, Thor Anderson in the 41 and the 9 of Mitch Van Engen. Anderson manages to protect the top spot a couple of times, but the 3rd time would be the charm for Van Engen. A restart brought him back together a couple of laps later, but Van Engen again gains the edge, and it was never in question after that. Van Engen goes on to claim the special, giving him 2 wins on the season. He also takes over the top spot on the leaderboard. Van Engen 27 points clear of both Anderson and Tyler Tesh. Cullen DeRuyter and Ryan Walker round out the top 5. The Superstock Special highlighted Saturday's show at Dakota State Fair Speedway. A couple of guys looked like they really wanted that $700 payday. The 71 of Trevor Nelson started 2nd. The 10 of Cole Searing was 4th, but those two were the clear front runners for this one. Nelson held the lead early, but Searing takes it away with 14 to go. Nelson not going away, though. He counters the next time around to get back in front. The battle raged on from there, Searing right on Nelson's bumper, but he gets a little too close with 5 laps remaining. Contact on the backstretch results in a cut tire for Nelson, and the 71 is forced to bow out. It was smooth sailing for Searing from there. He's now captured 3 of the last 4 in Huron. The defending track champ now has 5 victories overall and is well settled at the top of the leaderboard. Jeremy North, who's the only other guy with multiple wins in this class, is 24 off the pace. Things have been very competitive in the Midwest Modifieds division this season. Adam Brotherton, one of several drivers in the mix for the track title, and he definitely helped his case Saturday. Brotherton outraced pole setter Cole DeYoung on the start, and he keeps the 14 out front the rest of the way. Brotherton cruises to another win at his hometown track.
Really, everything's been going pretty good here for the most part. I mean, we've been solid top 5, top 6 car here every night. I think this is our 3rd win, so I just keep winning races, you know, keep getting in the redraw, and I think we'll be doing all right.
Lots of entertainment in the modifieds feature. Number 6 starter Tyler McDonald racing toward the front in the 5M. He gets a 2-for-1 deal here as he gets by Dave Carlson and Scott Ward for second. A couple laps later, McDonald completes his climb as he flies by the 51 of Alex Guthmiller for the lead. McDonald still out front late in the race. Ward looking for a little payback, makes his move, but he can't quite make it stick. McDonald able to fend him off, and he holds on for his second straight win. Another McDonald would show the way for the late models. David had his 52X dialed in. He assumed command from the pole, and his lead just kept on growing. McDonald dominates wire to wire en route to his first win since May 14th.
The more I calmed down, the more of a gap the guys back there were giving me. So I think I've been overdriving the car, and which I have a tendency to do, especially when there's a little traction. So, but it's coming. We got to keep practicing for the big shows at the end of the season. So that's when it pays.
Well, we have reached the white flag. We'll wrap things up with a look at the weekend schedule next. Here's a look at where the Midco Motorsports cameras are going to be heading this weekend. Enjoy the races, everyone. We'll see you back here next week.